G'day guys, Paul Michaels here from Big Game Indicating Dogs. Welcome to my little workshop here. So I'm doing a video on my gun, on the 308. I'm calling this a 308 Blackout. So if you follow my stuff, you've seen me talking about my 308, and I've just posted a couple of videos on Big Game Indicating Dogs today of shooting some pigs and deer in the Climbwise yesterday, and I'm getting quite a few messages asking questions about the gun, questions about the suppressor, about the ammo, in comments and in messages. So as I often do, when I start getting lots of questions on something, I just make a video on it, and then that answers the question for most of those people. And then when I get more questions, I just kind of link the video for people to watch, because it just works good. It's better than answering the same question over and over and over. So this is my 308 Blackout. Now, a 308 Blackout is just a 308 with a 1 1/8" twist barrel on it. If you've also followed my stuff for quite a while, you'll know I was using the 300 Blackout for a while. So I could use subsonic ammunition, and more importantly, so I could use the Lehigh controlled fracture subsonic round, which works very, very well. We've got there's a video on YouTube, and on might not be on Facebook actually. There's definitely a video on YouTube, about a half-hour video of me shooting Seeker in the Kaimanawas with footage of me shooting deer with these, and it actually shows you the damage that these bullets do. Hunting with subsonic ammunition using standard rounds, it doesn't work very good. They don't expand. I've done it, and the bullet just passes through without doing any damage, whereas these Lehighs are designed to break up and fracture, and they actually fire them, they hit the animal, and they've got 3 petals on them. The petals break off and go out on a 45-degree angle. They're about 20 mil long petals that are spinning and cutting, and the main core of the bullet goes straight ahead, and there's also another piece going its own separate way. Very devastating round and very good. They kill at subsonic. So shooting over the dogs, as you've seen, where most of these questions are coming from is from the videos I was posting on shooting the stag in the Climbwise and shooting the pigs in the Climbwise. I shot 2 pigs. Probably half the reason why I was able to shoot 2 is because I was using the subsonic ammo. It sounds like quite a loud crack on the video, but in reality it's much, much quieter than high velocity ammo. And so it's just a crack, and animals sort of stand around and don't know where it's come from. When it's boom from the massive high velocity round, everything just freaks out and runs. When it's a crack, they more just shuffle around and trying to work out what's going on, and the shot doesn't travel far either. So I was able to shoot 2 pigs right there, and then not long after that, I was sitting there actually cutting up the pigs, and a stag walked right up to me while I was cutting up the pigs, and I shot that as well. And I attribute a lot of that type of thing to using quiet ammunition, and I've experienced that quite a lot. Shooting with subsonic ammo, shooting 1 deer and hanging it up and sort of walking 5 minutes, and there's another one just feeding happily in the next gully, and all sorts of stuff like that. But that's actually one of the last reasons why I use subsonic ammunition. Mainly is for my ears and my dog's ears. My left ear is pretty buggered from a lifetime of quite a bit of shooting, and getting muzzle blasted a couple of times and all sorts of stuff. Got quite bad tinnitus ringing in my left ear. So anytime I fire a shot with high velocity ammo, especially in the bush with trees deflecting the sound back, and that actually have quite bad ringing in my ears, especially in my left ear. So I really like the subsonic ammo, the Lehighs. I use the Lehighs because they're the only thing that I've used that kills properly. There's other lead bullets out there, real soft lead bullets that are specially designed to be used subsonic. They're pretty good, but still not as good as the Lehigh stuff. So that's that. Now for the Lehighs, you need a 1 1/8" twist barrel. That's why you need that different barrel on here, and that barrel is A mate of mine's got a true flight barrel on his, which works very, very well too. Shoots real good, shoots high velocity and low velocity rounds really well. So the thing is with this gun is, you know, the Blackout was awesome, but it was only good out, you know, with the Subsonics only really up to about 50 or 100 meters, and then with the high velocity through the Blackout, it was only good out to about 200. This, with the good barrel, the 308 cartridge, I'm able to shoot the Subsonics, so that's one load, with the Lehigh 168 grain controlled fracture subsonic round. And then I also load the 178 grain Hornady ELDX at high velocity. That's my high velocity round. I'm using 45 grains of 2208 in my high velocity round, and I'm using 9.3 grains of Trail Boss in my subsonic round. Now, both those loads, that 45 grains of 2208 is quite a hot load, so don't go, oh fantastic, and throw 45 grains of 2208 in your 308 and start shooting 178 grain ELDX, because it's quite a hot load, and with hand loading, you know, you got to do all your right practices the whole time and start low and at your minimum load and work your way up and shooting over a chronograph and all that sort of stuff and checking for pressure and all of that. But that's what I use, and that 178 grain, that's going about 2,650 feet per second, and the 178 grain high velocity load. The ELDX is doing about 2,650, and that's the 178 grain ELDX is quite a high, very high BC 308 round, and the ELDX expands well at long range. It's at lower velocities, nowhere near as low as the and as well as the Lehighs do, but it is a very good round. So in this setup now, I have a round that, look, that ELDX, I've shot steel out to 770 meters with it, relatively easy in low wind. As you get up around a little bit more wind, I can still quite easily account for the wind and dial for it out to about 500 or 600 meters, you know, and that bullet's killing very well at 500 or 600 meters. I've got a good dialing scope. This scope is a Leopold, the latest VX6 HD, and that's got the locking turrets. I'll actually lock them back to 0 because I had it set for my subsonic rounds hunting in the Kaimais yesterday, and I've got it locked back to my 0, which is my 0 for my high velocity round. So I'll get to that whole thing in a second. But so with this 308 with the 1 1/8" twist barrel, the way it's all set up, I've got a setup that I can shoot the Lehigh subsonics with and shoot animals in the bush very quiet, no recoil. The animal in the next gully can't hear it. I can shoot right over my dog and they don't blink an eye. For bush hunting over a dog, I just really love using these subsonics. They kill really well. There's no big bang. There's a bit more finesse to it. I don't know, I just really like it. No recoil, just so nice to shoot with. Both eyes open sort of stuff. This is a 3 to 18, so I have it wound down to 3 in the bush, and it's really, really nice. Nice optics too on this HD. It eats the light, and it's just a bloody nice scope, you know. This whole setup. So bush hunting, I got the suppressor on there, 20-inch barrel too, guys. That's for people, you're gonna have to take notes on this video. Got a 20-inch barrel, so that's a big part of getting the best out of my high velocity round. Is having that 20-inch barrel. It just gains a little bit more velocity, and that really gets me up on my long range game, and really gives me the edge there. And the other thing a longer barrel does is, you know, people use suppressors and to quieten their guns down and stuff these days, but the more you cut a barrel down, the louder a gun gets. So a suppressed 308 with a 16-inch barrel is a hell of a lot louder than a suppressed 308 with a 20-inch barrel. So this has got a 20-inch barrel, which makes everything a lot quieter, less recoil too, because I've got more weight out forward. The gun doesn't want to buck up as much, it just kicks straight back nicely. That suppressor is a Silence from Dean Maisie. I get all my work done by Dean Maisie, and we'll talk about that more soon. But I'm going all over the place with this, but there's a lot to this. And I'll just throw this video out there just to sort of try to answer as many questions as possible, as quickly as possible. So with that setup, I can use the Subsonics, which I love for lots of reasons, and then I've still got that real good long range high velocity round. So with the Blackout, you know, I was maxed out at 200. With this, I can go bush stalking, or I can go hunting anywhere, bush stalk with the Lehighs, which I love to be able to do, and then I can walk out on a river or come out in the open somewhere and see a deer 600 meters away, and put a ELDX in and tip it over. And then I've still got that ability of carrying, you know, 178 grain in a 308 is a good hand load, and the ELDX is soft too, so it's heavy on the one hand. 180 grains, relatively heavy. It's relatively soft because it's the ELDX, which is a good expanding bullet, and it's only out of the 308, so it's still only doing 2.6. So you hit a big stag in the shoulder with one of these bush hunting or at medium range, and they pack a hell of a punch. And then they still perform well at long range, you know. So this really covers all my bases, right from using subsonic Lehighs in the bush, right out to long range shooting easily to 500 or 600. And if there's no wind and you really want to stretch its legs and you do your practice and you do all your work, you can even stretch it out a little bit further than that, out to 800 meters, even further if you want to go crazy with it. But really, for me, practically, this is a super solid 500-600 meter rifle. You know, it really is. So it shoots an inch at 100 yards easy. Very accurate. Now, so let's talk about the scope and the dialing between the two. So I can sight this rifle sighted in at 100 yards for the ELDX from a high velocity long range round. Phone's ringing, I have to ring them back. For the subsonic round, I dial up 8 MOA, and I actually have to dial left 2. So that's how much it drops, and that's sighted in for 50 yards. So with the high velocity dialed in bang on at 100, the subsonic is dropping that much that it's 8 MOA low at 50 meters. So so I've worked that out because I've got a good repeatable dialing scope here in the VX6 HD. I can just dial up when I'm going bush stalking. I just dial up 8, and it's actually hitting 2 MOA right. So I have to dial left 2 MOA. But the key is that it's all repeatable. Now my mate's 308 Blackout, he set up one exactly the same. I think he might have an 18-inch barrel. His one, the horizontal is the same, so his just hits low, so he just dials straight up. For me, with the different load, mine hits slightly right, so I have to dial up and left. Every gun's different. That's to do with harmonics of the barrel and different things like that, and and different rounds whipping the harmonics of the whole barrel and the bedding and everything, and making that bullet land in a different place. That's why you always have to check your zero when you swap ammunitions. The key thing is that it's repeatable, which it is in this. Every time it hits in the same place with both rounds, and I've got a repeatable dialing scope, so I can just dial that in. 8 up, 2 left, and I'm good. And this scope, by the way, which I love this scope. I had the old VX6, one of the first ones to come out, which was a nice scope too, and it dialed repeatably and all of that, but this has got much better glass, and the turrets on these things that come back and actually lock into place, they actually lock these, so you can't go up and down. You got to push the button in so you can turn them. It's also got 40 MOA. Oh, sorry, 37, 38. Yeah, it is 40 MOA. You can do 2 whole turns, and you can't get lost. You can always come back and find yourself again. So they're a bloody good scope. You got the parallax adjustment on the other side here to get all your focus right at longer ranges. So someone asked a question about the barrel, like where do you get the barrel from, where do you get parts from, what sort of suppressor is it, what sort of rings do you use, where do you get the ammo from. Dean Maisie in Tauranga could take care of all of that for you. And Dean, I've been working with Dean. Dean's been doing all my gunsmithing work for quite a few years now, and he's bloody good. Some gunsmiths will get more creative and do more stuff, and sometimes I go to Dean and I'm like, hey Dean, can you do this? And he's like, no, well, that's actually not a good idea because of this, and this. He knows his shit, and I've used a lot of other gunsmiths in the past and run into issues and all of that, and I just got to the point now where I know if I go to Dean with an idea and he tells me it'll work, then I know it's super solid and it's going to work, and if I go to him with an idea and he tells me, well, it might not work because of this, it's because he knows what he's talking about. And he can get the Lehighs in, his suppressors that he makes are Silens. Again, you can get lighter suppressors, you can get different suppressors, you can get whatever the hell you want, but these suppressors are the way they are for a reason. I've just got a wrap on this to stop glare in my scope in low light conditions. But yeah, so these are Dean suppressors too. They're a good solid suppressor that I know just won't let me down. Stainless internals, they're good. That's what I use anyway. That's not paid thing this isn't a paid bloody advertisement for Dean or anything. And I just pay full price for all my stuff, and that I'm just telling you guys what I use and why I use it. So a couple of other, I'm just going to quickly run around and make sure I'm not running out of battery or anything crazy here. No, we look good. Sweet. I was like, oh, this is a Tikka. Okay, Tikka T3 platform. A couple of so Dean built this gun for me. He put the barrel on it. This isn't a true flight barrel. This is a different type of barrel. Very accurate. It works well. I like it. Dean built this on a 2506, I think it was, which is the longer action, the longer bolt travel, and that gives me room in the mag for my big, long, high BC round. And that's why the Tikkas are a very, very good platform for building a rifle like this on. These rounds don't fit in a standard Tikka mag, and some rifle platforms you can't. It's difficult to change your mag and your mag box and your bolt stop and your bolt stroke and all of that. That's what the Tikkas have got. That's why they're so popular, and they also tend to shoot really well out of the box. So that's the main stuff I can think of off the top of my head on this rifle. A lot of those questions, if you're serious, you know, I've had a couple of messages like people, I want to build one. What is it? Where do you get the parts and all of that? Honestly, if you're serious about doing it, I would just get Dean to build it. That's where I got mine done, and that's where I can recommend to get it done and know it'll be good. And Dean, you know, this was the first one of these that I knew of being built, a 308 with a 1 1/8 inch twist barrel that I'm shooting the Lehighs through, and the high velocity ELDX, and using the 1 1/8 inch twist barrel, and then all that stuff. You know, it was a little bit of a test run, and it's worked really well. And there's quite a few, you know, Dean's got a massive big info sheet on do's and don'ts for using the subsonic ammunition through a 308, and he's got lots of stuff, and all of those questions, if you're serious about building one, he can answer all of those. What type of barrel, what type of suppressor. This is a different suppressor, you know, that's better for subsonics, and all that sort of stuff. Oh, the one other thing, this handle here is just for filming. It's just mounted through the stock screw that the Tikkas already have in the stock here, and the action screw there. It's alley powder coated with a camera mount that's just for filming, so I can just carry the gun, because as soon as you put a camera on top of the gun, I used to have it back here. It makes it really difficult to just relax down like that. That allows me to carry it like that with the camera there, and I'm not bumping the camera into my leg and all that, so I can carry it all day with the camera on the whole time. And then when I start filming, the camera sits right here. I can tilt the screen up, I can just hit record, and I'm just rolling like that. I can come up, zoom in, I can follow the dog with the gun down like that, filming the dog, and then I can actually see an animal, zoom in, and I have this here is a swivel moving mount, so I can align the camera up with the crosshairs of the scope, so when I see an animal, I can actually zoom in on it, and then when I come up to shoot, the camera's right on it. So that's just a quick sort of, I don't know, it's probably almost half-hour rant on my rifle. I hope that's answered a lot of those questions, and yeah, so this setup I've got here, this workshop, I've got the camera, lighting, I've got editing right behind me there, even the new mic that I've got on this camera, and heaps of stuff, it's all stuff I've been mucking around with, getting ready to go for quite a while, so I can pump out little videos like this and easily, and just whack them straight up there, you know. So I'll probably be making a few more of them. Not sure what I'll do next, and also got a heap of other stuff on the go too. So cheers guys, I'll see you later.